Welcome everyone, this is Viking, and today we're going to explore the Tomcat's air-to-ground modes. I'm going to do a quick startup, because we already explained the details in a previous video.
Chief, turn on the ground power. Chief, copy. Connect ground air supply. Copy. Ground power is now on.
Roger that.
Supply is now connected.
DCS comm check. You okay?
Going to set TACAN to channel 3.
Closing canopy. Check. Ready to start.
Chief, turn off the ground power. Chief, disconnect ground air supply.
And we're gonna clear out the extra tanks because we're not going to need them.
Request refueling. Request rearming.
Yep, roger that.
Okay, I'm going to do the INS alignment, and as you note, ASH is a stored heading, so this won't take all that long. And as Jester busily types coordinates in, we're going to pull up our kneeboard with right shift K. We see that the laser code for our bombs is 1543. We can change that on the ground, but we cannot change it while we're in the air. So you gotta remember to get this correct before you take off. With a stored heading, it moves slowly up until this point, and then it moves very quickly down the rest of the alignment. So it's basically complete, and we just need Jester to acknowledge that, which he's about to. Nose wheel steering on. Come on, Jester, waiting on you, buddy. Did I turn on the oxygen? Yeah, I did. ICLS.
Ready to taxi.
And check trim. I'm going to drop it just a tiny little bit, barely even noticed. And away we go. And after takeoff, the first thing we're going to do is connect to a tanker so that we can demonstrate in-flight refueling in the Tomcat. Hopefully I don't completely fuck it up. Now, without the external tanks, we got 16,000 pounds of internal fuel. And the Tomcat has, when it's really pumping power out of its engines, it's not fuel efficient at all. It really needs all the gas it can carry. But at lower speeds, it's unbelievably efficient. With tanks, you can, with external tanks, you can get almost 5 hours of flight out of this thing. It's incredible. A little bit too far to the right, and bring it onto target. Come on. Okay. And maybe just a bit further. Good. Okay. Kneel the jet. And extend the wings. And drop the flaps. Hook it up to the cat. And switch to Stennis traffic.
Roger, okay.
Let's give the salute.
Friendly, raw, 265, 10 miles. Angels 20. Friendly, 9 o'clock high, 9 miles.
We got TACAN on, but we don't have it on air-to-air, so now it's on air-to-air. And we've got a TACAN signal. Gonna punch the burner because we're only doing 200 knots here. $300. Passing 400 knots, dropping it back to full mil. 10-degree climb. Let's make it a, 12-degree climb. Let's grab a thumbnail for the video here. That looks nice. Actually, this one shows off the bombs better. Let's take a screenshot. Okay. Back in the jet, and I see the tanker is now behind us. Looks like we crossed paths. Punch the burner. I was in that turn. I used 15 units of angle of attack (AOA), and you can see that right here. Now, on the AOA gauge, there's a square and there's a triangle. The square is for optimum climb rate. You want your AOA to reach that when you're climbing, and that lets you know that you're at the optimal climb rate. And for maximum fuel efficiency, you want to let the AOA indicator in level flight hit that triangle. I don't usually let it get quite that high up. Usually it's a few ticks below the triangle, but that gives you a sense of where the most fuel efficient, or where the most fuel efficient flight comes in, flight profile comes in. We're at 15,000 feet now, and distance is 9 miles. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to spike our buddy here so I can get him on the TCS.
Target 9 miles. It's a friendly.
Yes,
Copy.
it is. But even though I've broken radar lock, I still have a contrast lock on the television camera, so I'll be able to visually keep tabs on him. And I'm just letting the altitude hold autopilot kick in there. And at 8 miles, it's going to take us a little while to reach him. Not long, but a little while. TCS display seems kind of corrupted. It's not. Oh, I get what's happening. The cross is being occluded by the aircraft. That actually kind of makes sense now that I think about it. So we're going to bring the cross back into the middle, so we're pointing directly at him. Ah, neat. Okay. I didn't realize it worked that way. And we are currently at full military power, and we're almost supersonic. Oh, look at that bastard bank. So I'm actually going to bring the RPMs down to like 95%. And I'm going to follow this guy through his bank. And that's one of the bonuses of the TCS. You can actually see the guy, so you know what he's doing. 5 miles. Actually, if I want to cut down the time it's going to take me to reach him, I should pull lead. Do an intercept course. 3 miles. And hey, tanker.
Texaco, Dodge 1-1. Request rejoin. Dodge 1-1. Texaco, proceed to pre-contact at 20,000.
How about you level off? And then I'll be able to do that. Now, one of the things that makes air-to-air refueling a little bit tricky in the Tomcat is all this stuff like the A-frame that's right in front of you. I mean, it does not have really excellent forward visibility, I'm sorry to say. Now, I want to come in beneath him because I don't want to hit his wake turbulence. I'm going to kill the throttle. I'm going to put the wings back into bomb mode because that prevents the aircraft from being a little too twitchy. It also prevents the wings from changing their sweep as you're refueling. Speaking of refueling, let's get that probe up. And
Ready, pre-contact. Return pre-contact.
yeah, how did I know you were going to say that? Because I want to stay below him to stay out of his wake turbulence. But it's so hard to see him.
Ready, pre-contact. Return pre-contact.
Come on, man. I'm right here.
Ready, pre-contact. Return pre-contact.
Okay. I guess I really got to get up close.
Ready, pre-contact. Cleared contact.
Thank you. Alright, so I mean, if you don't have head tracking, this is going to be harder than it is for people who have head tracking. Because if you can't scrunch your head down, you're going to have trouble seeing upward to where you need to see. And I'm trimming the aircraft as we head in here. I'm actually going way too fast. So I'm killing the throttle, rocking it a little bit at the lower end, putting my heading carrot just to the left of the refueling pod, trimming up a little bit. Okay. We're good. Time to close in and make contact. I'm probably a little bit too far left. Alrighty. Ooh, 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 ooh. Don't oscillate. Don't oscillate, Viking. That's not good. That's not good. Just keep her steady. Keep her steady. Don't chase the basket. Let the basket come to you. And I missed it.
You can do it, man.
Thank you, Jester. I know I can.
Right.
Now, it's second time's the charm. Don't go too fast, and don't chase the basket. Let the basket come to you. Keep it in your peripheral vision. Focus on the jet's wingtip, and do not overspeed. Just let it happen. Alright.
Plugged and taking fuel.
No, don't disconnect, don't disconnect. Don't speed up too much. Okay, just take her easy there, Viking. Take her easy. This is not that difficult. Just gotta keep it all under control. Just gotta keep it all under control.
Fuel 13,500.
And this is what I love about Jester. He tells me how much fuel we've got. I think I trimmed this a little bit too high, but it's alright. We've got it. We've got it.
Fuel 14,500.
1,500 pounds more, and we're done with this.
Fuel 15,500.
500 pounds till completion.
Transfer complete. Disconnect.
Okay, transfer complete. We can rejoin right.
Except we're not going to rejoin right. We are going to take our wings out of bomb mode so they extend fully and give us all the lift we need. And then we're going to steer towards our surface target. Navigation utility, select destination steer point, surface target.
You got it, boss. Switching to our surface target.
Lost a little bit too much speed there, so I'm going to go to full mill briefly. And we're under 15 units of we're at 15 units of AOA, which means it's very important to coordinate the turns. If you're going to roll right, you got to do right rudder. If you're going to roll left, you got to do left rudder as well. Failure to do so, especially at low speeds, can lead to a Top Gun style flat spin, the kind that killed Goose, and we don't want that. Now, because I'm not going to be taking any fuel between now and the mission, I'm reluctant to hit the burners. So even though we're losing a little bit of altitude, I'm just going to let it happen, and as we pick up speed, we'll pick up altitude. As you can see, we've currently got less AOA than that carrot, although not much. This 250 knot speed is about where we want to be. So I'm going to try to keep our speed at roughly 250 knots on the way there. I figure ballpark that's going to be a little under 90% RPMs. So we'll put it there, and that way we'll use up very little fuel en route. Currently the fuel consumption gauge says it's a little more than 3,000 pounds per hour per engine. And so That'd be almost 5 hours of flight if we kept it that way throughout the journey. And given that this waypoint is 112 miles away, we may want to speed up time a little bit. We actually could pull the throttles back even further than this if we wanted to, because we've got a little bit to spare on the AOA gauge, but I'm happy with this. The true airspeed will show down here in your compass when you've got DEST as the steer command. So we're doing 385 knots true airspeed, but we're at 20,000 feet, and our indicated airspeed is about 275. Now, having demonstrated fuel-efficient flight for half of the journey, so we got halfway there using up about 1,000 pounds of fuel. That's not bad. Going 50 nautical miles on just 1,000 pounds of gas, that's good. I'm going to turn off TACCAN for now because we're not going to need the tanker again. Although, when I do return to the Stennis, I'm just going to preemptively dial in its code of 74 and then turn off the TACCAN system. We don't need it right now. Also, I'm going to switch it out of the radio out of preset 230, which is the tanker's frequency, and I'm going to go to manual, and actually just if I'm going to adjust the radio, I'm going to get the sun off of it. So we're going to go to 250.05. That is the frequency for Lar Air Base. Anyway, demonstrated fuel-efficient flight for half of the journey to the waypoint, and now we're going to put it into high gear and go full military power the rest of the way. We are 35 miles from the target, so we're going to put this thing into air-to-ground mode. And it blinks for a bit because, believe it or not, this thing is actually reading its computer program off a cassette tape, 70s style. Disable exterior lighting and enable master arm. Now we got a bomb fall line. We probably don't need to go full mil on this one. We're bumping up against the transonic range here, and I don't want that just yet. Actually, no, we will go full mil. We'll just go up a little bit and bleed off some of the speed that way. Alright, now we're going to tell Jester to set up our weapons.
Okay.
For GBU-12s, just the nose fuse. For most bombs, it's just the nose fuse.
Copy.
Ripple settings are how many do we want to drop, and so we say ripple quantity, step means 1.
Roger.
"20 miles out, we should nix the autopilot and look for the red smoke. And there it is. So we're going to line up the bomb fall line on the red smoke. It's twitching around and it probably shouldn't be. I'm not entirely sure what's up with that. It might be because we're in the transonic. We're approaching the transonic range. I'm actually going to throttle back to 90% engine RPMs. You can very gradually see the wings unsweeping, very, very slowly, as we slow down a little bit, because fully swept is generally just for supersonic flight. Now you can see the red smoke down there. It's basically dead ahead of us, and so I'm going to drop the bomb, pickle, and I'm gonna turn us away. In the meantime, we can see that this bomb is going to miss. Shit. I was sure that I'd be able to do a cool glide bomb shot. Let's turn back in. And we are close enough to lined up. What do we got here? 10 miles. Boom. Pickle. Alright. So that one missed. But this one, it's just got its nose down a little bit. But it's because it's 10 miles. It's only 10 miles away. It was able to pick up the laser. The limitations on the laser detection is like 10 or 12 miles. So I think I was just barely outside of the range when I dropped the other one. So this is just sort of eyeballing it. I wasn't using any sights or anything like that. I just knew that it was roughly 10 nautical miles away, and so I lined up on the smoke and pickled. That is one way to do it. Another way to do it is about to be explored. Gonna put the autopilot on, and I'm throttling back a little bit, and we're going to tell Jester to put it into computer target. We can do computer target or pilot target.
Rudder.
Or computer pilot. Computer target, computer pilot. Computer target, which we've just selected, is the CCRP mode. And I don't usually use it as a pure CCRP mode. Now let's just get this red smoke going here. I got the throttles at 0, and I'm intentionally bleeding off a ton of speed. Because we're going to be descending. And okay, so what you want to do here is you want to put the wings back into bomb mode, and you want to put the diamond over the target and then hit the designate button. So there we go. Boom. And then you want to fly as close as you can to that, and then you see the bomb fall line coming down to meet the velocity vector. That's one of them, and now the second cross is coming down to meet the velocity vector. Whoops, a little bit off target, and automatic pickle. And we see that it is picking up the target and headed straight for it. And then the INS remembers where that target is, so if you have to come back and take another run at it, you won't have to redesignate. And now we're going to go back to computer pilot, and so we don't have a carrot anymore. And actually, I don't want to overfly another SAM site, so I'm actually going to come around this way, even though it's the longer way to go. We have tons of fuel, 13,500, so I have no problem using the burners to help me make this turn. I'm at 15 degrees AOA. I'm not going to move the stick left or right. I'm just going to move the rudder left. See how much the rudder alone rolled me? That's what happens at high angles of attack in the Tomcat. The rudder rolls you. The stick throws you into a flat spin. Now, I'm not really going to get an opportunity to do a proper CCIP run on this guy because he is a heat-seeking surface-to-air site. So I'm just going to come around and eyeball it again, because I know the laser-guided bomb will be able to glide most of the way. But do remember that if you want to roll at high angles of attack, you would be well advised to use the rudder, not the stick. Pickle, and we're out of here. Can put it back into cruise mode. And this guy's gliding in quite happily, so that's good. And now we're going to go to Lar Air Base. Right, Jester?
Roger. Switching to home base.
Now, this jet actually can't go that fast at low altitudes. You know, at 15,000 to 25,000 feet, it can hit some pretty incredible speeds. But the only reason we're reaching Mach 1.2 here is because we're diving. It can just barely reach Mach 1.2 if it's not in a dive and if it's at low altitude. At about, I think, 26 or 27,000 feet, it can actually break past Mach 2 if there are no weapons on the jet at all. And we got about 9,500 pounds of fuel. And we are 30 miles from Lar Air Base, so we'll just level her off here. Looking good, baby, looking good. Disable master arm. Turn on exterior lights. And contact the airfield.
1-1.
Yeah, I don't want to use runway 9, I want to use runway 27. It's just more convenient for me. So we'll put this baby into landing mode. We're not going to use the hook, but we've already enabled, no, we have not already enabled this. So we got to put this into the up position. That's really going to help you with your air braking once you hit the ground. We're currently doing about 350 knots, 17 miles out. That means we should actually use some throttle to maintain some speed. So we'll do like 85%, something like that. And we'll lose a bit of altitude, put the velocity vector at the foot of the runway. We don't want to go over 400 knots because our speed brake only does maximum speed brakiness at 400 knots and under. And I want to be able to hit that speed brake and slow right down when we're about 5 miles. How are we doing for lining up here? It's not bad, it's not bad. We're going to come up just a little bit right to even it out. And 9 miles. We can actually see the runway on the TCS here. Can see that we're not quite lined up, but we're getting there. Thank you.
Dodge 1-1. Request landing.
Okay, speed brakes out, throttle to nothing. actually cutting this a little bit close. This is actually not a good example of a quality landing.
500 feet. 400 feet. 300 feet. 200.
Alright, now you see how those things are standing up on the wings? That's thanks to that switch. And I'm gonna put the wing sweep lever all the way back. It'll have no effect at the moment because my flaps are down.
You're way too fast.
Oh, shut up, Jester. I'm fine. Got the nose wheel steering on, and then when I raise flaps, everything retracts. I'm not even using any wheel braking here. I just let the aerodynamic braking happen, and I retracted my speed brake like just now, but it was out for most of the run. And now I can put my wings into oversweep, so they fold back nicely. We can put the throttle up to just about 80%, which is a good taxiing setting. And yeah, I think we're gonna call it for the first air-to-ground laser-guided bombing run, and I'll do some more air-to-ground stuff next time. Thanks for watching. Cheers and enjoy.